It's Monday night. We are working out some of the kinks, and believe it or not, we're going to get there. It's Monday night, January the 26th, and the dialogue is officially rebooted. Our last show showed in June of 2025 with a large gap between April and June. And we're getting back. Hopefully, you'll see us every week. Uh, Hopefully, you'll see us every week. Hello. I'm so, I don't know who that is, but hello to you. Thanks for hopping on tonight. Uh, Listen, the dialogue is officially rebooted. Let me just give you a little bit about what we are, what we do, and how we're going to do this new version, this new and improved dialogue with Dozie. You got just a glimpse of our intro. Our new intro will go back to our original music, not licensed music, but the original songs, Animals by Charles Erlin. It brought a lot of energy, and we sure appreciate Go Giga for what they had. They had a lot of energy with our intro. We're working on that intro. Hopefully next week you'll see all of that stuff. But right now, we want to just give you a preview of what tonight's show is going to look like. I'm by myself tonight. I'm flying solo. Do have some graphics, few videos. I'll have a live body on with us next week. I always got my sister, my daughter, Miss Go Giga. She's always here to pitch in if need be. She'll come in via audio. But right now, let me tell you what the dialogue is going to look like. We're not going to get bogged down with this orange shenanigans that's going on in our world today. I want to say in our nation, but in our world today, we're not going to get bogged down. We're not going to get stuck there. We're not going to let that be what holds us down now, because it's so intertwined with our culture and everything else. We cannot not talk about it to some extent. But let me give you let me just tell you what tonight's show is going to do. We're going to look back at what the year looked like after the show went dormant last year, and some of the news stories. Like I said, they're so terribly, and I say terrible, I mean terribly intertwined with the orange clown. But we're going to talk about some of the things outside of that, some of the joys. Then we're going to have to deal with some of the things dealing with him. We're going to go to our breaks. We're going to do one of our features, one of our first features. Are you serious? And we're going to do a Black History moment every week on this show. We're doing it on the church side, so we're now going to start doing it on the dialogue side because it's taken out of the schools. And for those who will pop on, we want to make sure that they're acquainted with what has happened, what is happening, and what we want to see happen in our history and in our culture. And then we're going to talk some sports. We're going to talk some sports. I just got a hit from my brother who said that MSNBC is coming up with some fresh news, and we've got to be about fresh news. So if I can kind of get a glimpse of what's going on, it's supposed to be breaking news, as I'm able to get it and understand what's happening. Oh, okay, I'm already over that. Thank you. The top border patrol officer is. Oh, wow. No, this is new. He's being removed from his position. That's significant. Thanks, Sam. The head of the Border Patrol is being removed. He's taking a fall for what happened on this past Saturday. Now, how about, is that Bundy? I hope that's Bundy. She's the one who has gone on and told two lies, and the administration has followed. But let me get off of where we are. We got to catch up on some things. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the top news stories. Hopefully my technology will work with me so I can do some news stories that's not involved, that's somewhat separated from the orangeness that we endured. We're going to have to talk about some of the craziness because it has dominated the news cycle. And we're going to go to the midpoint. We're going to do the Are You Serious? The Black History that I told you we're going to do. Then we're going to talk some sports. We're going to talk some culture. We got to find a way to get more culture, more entertainment, more joy into the show. And then we're in it as my brother Kim, the segment as I see it, where we recap and where we want to go from what we learn in the show on MSNBC's the last word with Stephanie, not the last word. What is she called? The 11th hour with Stephanie Rule. She does what have we learned tonight? So we want to talk about as I see it and see what we may have learned and what can help make the world a better place and what can we do to help to get it there. And so that's how we're in the show tonight. But when we get to the culture entertainment part, it's going to be somewhat delightful. It'll be a little short, but it's going to be delightful, and we're going to build that up. And so we're basically looking at wanting to do 3 segments every week. We want to do some current events, we want to do some sports, and we want to do some culture. The weeks that we have guests, we don't want to dominate the whole show with 60 minutes of guests unless it's just a germane issue. It's a breaking news type issue, or something that like this coming down, and what we in South Florida are going to be dealing with, ICE coming here to deal with our Haitian brothers and sisters in the next 3 weeks. I think that it's been said that they're coming here, and that's going to affect all of us, because all of us are going to be classified. Any dark-skinned person is going to have to watch their backs for being mistakenly misclassified, and they don't care about that. They rather break your car window out, put you in jail, make you have to go through the trouble of somebody coming and identifying you, getting you out with all of your information, all of that stuff. But let me tell you what we missed. We did miss one of the things that Dialogue has always, we've always prided ourselves on, was all ethnic months, heritage, all months like Black History Month and those type of months or weeks. We always like to give them their props. And there are certain ones that we didn't do, but the ones that we do want to mention some, and we mentioned some. We missed quite a few significant ones, and I want us to talk about them. I just want to mention that we're sorry that we missed the Asian Pacific Heritage Week, a month. We missed the Pride Month. We missed Native American Heritage Month. That's something that's very close to my heart. When we did ministry in Illinois, we were part of a mission project that went down to Oklahoma, and it'll go down. Hopefully, when I see the master, it'll be one of the things that I feel good about, that we tried to do to make life better for other people, because there were some things that we continue to do as a ministry and as people for our brothers and sisters who of that population, the real Native Americans. We missed Suicide Prevention Month. In 2024, we had Dr. Hamilton's daughter. I cannot think of her married name, and she gave us a lot of information and was very helpful to us about recognizing signs. And so I'm very sorry that we missed that, and prayerfully we'll be back and we will deal with that in September and November. We missed the Heart Association Month. That's one of the killers we missed. Breast cancer observance, National Ice Cream Observance. Okay. All right. So there were others that we missed. And if I missed one that I didn't call out now, please bring it to my attention so we can highlight it and let the props go by, because we very much, and we did show retro shows. And thank you, Madam Producer and Go Giga, for the professional job you've done in presenting all of our retro shows, all of our retro shows. All of our retro shows, we tried to do the seasonal ones, going way back when we stayed on for 2 hours and a half or whatever. You all worked together to make them presentable and palatable for our public, our viewing audience, and our audience. We thank you for coming back with us and ask you to please remain with us. We're going to try to have this show. We purposely didn't have a whole lot of graphics and a whole lot of videos this time, because we're just getting back started and didn't want to wear the team out. But we will try to make this the most action-packed, eye-moving 60 minutes that you'll see by any podcast, and well-versed and well-rounded. Is it going to be one-sided? Yeah, it's probably going to have a lot of my perspective. I'm not going to lie about that. We get a lot of guests on. Hello, Miss Linda. That's our family, and we got a little surprise for you. And we're going. These are the things that we're going to be doing in 26 in the upcoming months. And apologies again. I know I missed a whole lot of observances. If you want to make me to know of them, if you want to bring them to my mindset, I'll be glad to deal with them. Now, I want to talk about some of the things that we missed on the news stories. The AP was the best source. I had, like I said, a hard time trying to pull together news sources that did not contain the orangeness is to it. To avoid it, that were not so tied into the orangeness, because the orangeness is going to have its own. It's going to have its own list of Madam Producer. Are you able to share this show out to my page? I put that in the wrong place. The orangeness has a lot of stuff. This everything is tied up is tied around through it. We're gonna try to work around through that. And I want to mention, and I want to begin in April, around the Easter season. We lost a pope. Some say it was Easter Day, Easter itself. The Pope went on to glory. He left this world. The Pope left this world, and that was a significant news event, and only followed by the next most significant news event emanating from the Vatican, and that was that the Vatican has the first American Pope from Chicago, and he has deep ethnic roots. Actually, we would say that he has that he's black. Okay, if I'm wrong about that, please let me know. But that's one of the things that Washington has no call, nothing to say about, nothing to do with. We lost some news people. Not losing them is their lives, but losing them from the airways. We were used to seeing them every night, and they're no longer with us because of the madness, such as one of the big ones being Joy Reid. We lost her from MSNBC, and of course I consider that a great loss, because very cleverly she kept us aware. And did she have a perspective? Yes, she does. Each network brings its own perspective. There'll be news items that you'll see on one network. On the other network, you'll see it viewed from the left, from the middle to the left, and the other one you'll see from the far right. I'm trying to see where my hands are going to line up on this thing. Some from the far right, some from the left, and then there's one major network that's a little more down the middle with strictly news information. So again, I consider losing her from the airwaves because of her brilliance and her cleverness. Losing her was what I considered like to be like a major loss. One of the losses, and again, this is you can't separate this from the orangeness that we were affected by, is the losses that Doge under Elon Musk brought on. Maybe some of us may have known some people that were affected by those losses, those layoffs, and the course of comeback and reinstated some of the people. And some of the people opted not to come back because of what they felt to be the insecurity of having those jobs under the current administration. We had to deal with that bromance breaking up after Teslas were brought to the crazy house. I'm not going to call it the White House right now. Teslas were brought to the crazy house, and wow. Speaking of that, I'll say that for the next segment. Then the next thing, there was a fallout because of the policies of that house didn't line up with promoting Teslas and green energy, which what Teslas operate on, electricity. So near the end of the year, we understand that kind of got straightened out. Let me see. I threw this head on at the last minute. I want to make sure it's straight. Is this Strizzy? I think it is. Uh, so that was some of the thing, and of course, we're going to talk more about some of the things. A big worldwide item was what happened in Iran. Israel, because of their war with Gaza, used it as an opportunity to say that the attacks that occurred in 24, in the end of September in 2024, were brought on by cells, organizations in radical cells in Iran that supported those that caused those to happen, and because of that, they gave them a chance to bomb Iran, and because they bombed Iran where they were supposedly building a nuclear bomb site, it gave America an opportunity to go over there and dance on their heads. They went over there and supposedly went in and caused damage. The amount of damage to their nuclear capabilities have been vastly debated, many saying that we did nothing of any significant damage. The craziness would say that, yes, it did. It totally disarmed them. You evaluate that, find your own truth, do your own research. Of course, the terror, some of these things are some of the things that we're going to talk about. There was some of the catastrophes that we suffered, where there was a great in the Los Angeles area. There were wildfires that struck particular areas, and we had never seen strike like that before. And there were particular cities and that had always been protected from them, and they went there. So a lot of people say, well, man, look at God. Y'all better listen. And I'm not going to say if that was ordained. Certainly was allowed, or what a lot of evil is allowed at this moment. When God puts his thumb on it, it'll stop happening. But I'm not going to say that's an act of God. God allowed that to happen to get attention. But it got many of our attentions because it happened in a lot of affluent areas of the Los Angeles area. And we have family out there who, even where they lived, felt the effects of those wildfires that just wiped out whole communities that have been protected in past times. And also the catastrophe down in the Texas Hill Country, where they had those devastating floods, devastating, debilitating, that wiped out so many people and so many innocent children that were at camp, and the sadness of that event. That's one of the things that we experienced in last year. Oh boy, what else? What am I missing? I could sit here and talk about the craziness of what the administration did, but that's going to come under the orange. And so let me just get to that right now. Some of the appointees were brought to Capitol Hill, and they were the idiots. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to use that language. They came to Capitol Hill, and they were brought to Capitol Hill, and they came on, and I'm getting this breaking news, so I'm kind of discombobulated. So work with me. Let's see. ICE commander has been removed from his position. Okay, it wasn't Pam Bondi. You're not impressing me unless you remove Pam Bondi from the scene. She's the one who she's the one with all the big noise, and all of the. You basically pull a figurehead. You got the man who's going out there in fatigues. So they have removed him to make a show, trying to make up for the American public for what most of us see as a second murder in less than 15 days in Minnesota, my beloved Minnesota. But so let me get back to this whole. I forgot exactly where I was. We're back to this whole immigration thing, man. Next week, we're going to dedicate a big portion of this segment of the show looking at immigration. I'm going to have a guest, an expert in the area, and dissect it, the pros, the cons, what has caused all of this remorse, all of this trouble, all these families being split up. We know the images of people being deported. I have stories of young men being deported, and had their dads not gotten there in the nick of time, they were going to be sent down to where that prison is, maybe not in the prison with adults, but they were going to be sent down there in San Salvador. All the craziness that's going on. And if you notice, they're all happening in what you call blue cities, formerly sanctuary cities. Hopefully, I know that was a piece that we missed, the November elections. And one of the most significant because Democrats got a lot of seats. And the most significant one was the mayor of New York. And he sat down with the president. Maybe there's an understanding that they kept ICE out of New York, apparently, at least. And this brother is looked at as a socialist, quote unquote socialist. He's steep in that philosophy. We're gonna run over this segment, but we'll get fitted all in within the hour. We'll start a little late with our normal commercials. ICE is on the move now. Supposedly they're headed to Maine, which we know is a blue state, and come as you are state. Everybody can be who they want to be state, and that's where they're headed. And of course, we learned the other day that when this law, which has given Haitians some version of asylum in this country, when it ends on February the 3rd, supposedly ICE is headed right down here to start deporting our Haitian brothers and sisters. And again, many of us are concerned because if we have any accent, if our skin has any dark pigmentation to it, it gives them not the right, not the laws, but it's going to authorize them in their minds that they can pick us up from the streets, they can tear down our doors, they can enter into our worship houses, where everything they've been doing, they invade our schools. And so we're kind of on the lookout for that. And Faith in Florida is really about alarming everybody in South Florida that this is imminent to come. I don't know if they think it's going to be a sneak attack or if it's announced, but we do know that some point after that February the 3rd deadline, we're going to be hit as a nation. Now let's talk about the orangeness. ICE is the biggest craziness that we've had to deal with. We've had 2 murders, and I'm going to as an ex-law enforcement officer, I'm going to stretch out and say 2 murders. You've heard me talk about my time as a law enforcement officer. I worked in a city that was so concerned about its tourist population. The officers were almost, your life was more on the line. You had to justify pulling that weapon, because you didn't pull that weapon unless you were going to stop a threat. Stopping a threat, like it or not, usually means taking somebody out. We're not going to talk about lead shots and none of that. That's what stopping a threat usually means. And you don't pull that weapon, or you face severe punishment up until prosecution. Unfortunately, this group does not operate like that. They operate with, I got free reign at this point, and when I do it, I've got the highest officers in the land to support me. Whether they've even looked at the evidence, whether they care about the evidence, they're going to support me, because they're putting us out on the streets to meet a quota and to scare and to use the scare tactics. And unfortunately, 2 people have lost their lives along the way. Now we at the dialogue hope and pray that those lives, we know that through our Lord, those lives will not be in vain. We had a discussion today, and we said we lost Dr. King at age 38. But at age 38, some things quickened that he was fighting that he fought this government for. And we pray that those lives would have meant something. One was a nurse, one was a mother of 3 children. We know they mean something to us. They mean that these are people who have value, as does all God's children. So we're praying that justice will be served. There's no reason justice. It's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be a standoff when the state of Minnesota or Minneapolis, the city of Minneapolis, goes to arrest these assailants for what they did. If the federal government is going to try to protect them, I hope this is not the start of civil war. You know what they're doing is trying to set up anarchy so that they can say we don't have to have an election in November because of the chaos in the streets. Also, the redistricting is continuing to go on. That's the part of the orange agenda. And thankfully to Governor Newsom and other states, thank you, Indiana, you stood up against it. We the people spoke out at the ballot box and spoke out against redistricting. But expect all of the southern states, all of the red states, all of the orange influenced states are going along with it. Prayerfully, we have enough states to counter that. All we got to do is counter it. If we counter it, we'll get a fair election. And a fair election will mean that the House will turn in 2026 in November. And when the House turns, then some of the craziness will cease for 2 years anyway. Hopefully, we won't make the mistake in 2028 that we made in 2024. All right. So those are some of the things. Those are the main things that we've dealt with. Not to mention the economics, and we're going to talk about it. Not to mention the health care. Not to mention the big ugly bill and its ramifications. We'll break it down over the next coming weeks in segments. Next week we hope to focus on immigration and talk more about that. But these are just what some of the things we have faced since we have last been on the air. I missed a lot of stuff. We'll catch it up in weeks to come. Listen, I'm going to come back with you at the end of this commercial. We remember many people who left us during the time the dialogue was off the air. Some national celebrities and some people that are close to my heart and some of our fans' hearts. Thank you, Go Giga. GoGigEdge.com. They got all your virtual needs. Hey, just check them out. Hit them up. Contact them. Hit up their website. Contact them by email and let them put you on the air. Let them get your podcast off the ground. Let them build your website. All of your virtual needs, they got them, and they do them in a professional way. Before we continue, let me just say that our sister podcast started. We say our sister in so many ways, but the Golden Square podcast rebooted at the beginning of the year when I had hoped to be able to reboot, and they have come back strong. My girl Linda Scott and brother Barry Bonds, they come back with all of the latest in fashions, the latest in inspiration, the latest in joy, the latest in just attract and entertainment, and they have opinions too. And check them out. 7 p.m. Central Time, which is for us Eastern Time, 8 p.m. on Thursday nights, right here on these platforms that you'll see in this show: Facebook, YouTube Live, the Golden Square podcast, Thursday nights. Leave that post up just a second till I get some relief. Please, the Golden Square podcast, it's been around about 2 years, and they focused in on inspiring plus-size individuals in the fashion industry and just overall inspiration. Now, who is one of their brokers of our inspiration? Excuse me, I'll call him Barry Bonds, has joined Miss Linda, and now they're coming to you Thursday nights. They're doing it. Hop on, check them out Thursday night. I guarantee you'll be back. Okay, it's just throw to cooperate. I'm going to try to make this thing happen. Just on a personal note, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to my daughter. Madam Producer, Latoya, who put together what you just saw, was an example of the sheer professionalism of Go Giga X. That presentation in remembrance of all of those who have left us since we were last on the air consistently. Nationally, I know some of you are going to have some concern because I had a controversial figure on there. He's a national figure. And unlike the network whose call letters end with the X, I don't want to leave out that. I would rather show it and discuss it. I would rather vet it. Charlie Kirk was a father, a husband, didn't like his philosophy, didn't like his theology, didn't like his politics, but he was those other things. And he was able to shape the minds of college students, whether or not it was right or wrong. I would say in most cases wrong, but so we just wanted to highlight everybody. There was some figures that I want to just talk about. Ms. Smith was the wife of Senator Chris Smith, who's head of the Black Caucus here in the state of Florida. Chris Smith is going on. He's served terms. He's termed out as a legislature, both in the House and termed out as the Senate, as he was head of the Black Caucus, the Florida State Senate. He's a friend of this program, friend of this podcaster, and a mover and a shaker in Broward County. He's now leaning on his law firm and a great entrepreneurship. Smitty's Wings on Sistrunk Boulevard. Have your event there, contact him. And he's just doing a great thing for our community, revitalizing that community. That was his wife. She was a city manager of Lauderhill, where we reside. And she left us very quietly and unexpectedly. I last saw her with her sons campaigning for Chris in his last senatorial campaign. So our heart goes out to Chris and those boys. They have handled this so well. That's what he referred to uh, November of Thanksgiving as the new normal. And who wants to think of that as a new normal? But we thank God for his spirituality and all of those things that he clings to have a good perspective on this transition, major transition in his and the life of his young boys, and Chris is young himself. We also had Brother Prince Pearson, who is very close to, I'm close to Mrs. Pearson, and it was three boys, just like our mother had three boys. There were three of them. Prince was a coach who coached in HBCUs across the nation. The last biggest one was Bethune-Cookman University. He then went on to start the football program at what was Daytona Beach Community College. It has a new name, Daytona State College, I think it is now. And he had booted that program up and was working that when his health failed him and he left us. And Prince was a dear friend of mine. You've seen his brother Harold on here. Harold received a new heart about 2.5 years ago, literally a heart transplant. And so he was the middle of three sons. Malcolm, who played professional football with the Denver Broncos and played for the University of Miami. Prince having played for the University of Minnesota himself. And he just, at his services, you saw the tributes that came in from the young people. So it was a testimony to what his contribution to this life has been. And we thank God for him. And our hearts and prayers always go out to his mother and his daughter and his wife, Miss Evangeline, there in the Central Florida area. Also, Dr. Henry J. Lyons. You'll say he's controversial. Perhaps he had a fall. He paid for his fall. But I'll tell you this about Dr. Lyons, and he didn't do it for anything other than to try to help a young preacher. When I was when I was a licentiate minister at a church, he had been around me enough and around the outgoing pastor enough to know that if he left a recommendation for me, that I was strong enough for him to endorse me. He sent a letter of recommendation for me to become the pastor of a major Central Florida church. I was like 25 and had not had any major pastoral experience. I pastored a small church, and some of the church politics eliminated me and superseded his recommendation. Saw Dr. Lyons again, was with him the night he became the president of the National Baptist Convention. That was a joyous night. Unfortunately, things turned out as they did. But saw him while he was president. He came to Louisville while we were in seminary. He promised to help a brother of mine, and he helped him, who was a member of the convention. And he did, in spite of everything that happened, Dr. Lyons did a lot of good in his life and blessed a lot of people. And Lord knows he was one of God's strongest preachers. So our heart goes out to their families, and we thank God for sending Dr. Lyons our way. He died at the end of September. And then Lisa Mae Haynes, who left us very unexpectedly, I think over in November. She was a teacher's assistant over in the Mount Bethel Christian Academy, where my son went. And she helped me so much with my son, with matters I'd be running here and there, doing ministry work. She took a personal interest in him and became a friend of our family. And she had a sense of humor and spread joy and just had a great heart. Everybody would talk about how great her heart was. She left us unexpectedly. And sometimes the Almighty moves that way. And we certainly love she and her family. And listen, I'm just going to tell you, if the Lord move, if there's something on your heart to contact somebody, and you know it's with good intentions, contact them and spread good cheer to them. I'm not going to wallow in guilt, but I knew I was supposed to have called her prior to her leaving us, and I did. But she knew how we felt about her, and we think uh, uh, the Emmanuel Funeral Home down in Dania Beach, and Pastor Manuel is St. Ruth for the way he treated one of the employees. She let me just say it like this. She was one of her children's dad was a major worker, and they put her away well with the sermon, the service, and the presentation. And Lisa, we're gonna see you later. And of course, the last person you saw was our niece and Madam Producer's cousin, Sade Burke, who has battled some issues with diabetes and so forth. And Madam Producer and her husband Henry were there with her when she left this earth, and we're just grateful for what you did to be with her when many of us couldn't. And Sade, we love you, baby, and we'll see you later. To all of you and to all of them and to their families, we want you to know that if you live in the Lord, we'll see each other in the dawn. That's what we look forward to. All right. Thank you, Go Giga, for that outstanding presentation again. We appreciate it. Listen, we're challenged with time, but we're going to make it in time. Can I coin that phrase? We're challenged with time, challenged by time, but we're going to make it on time. Nothing's going to prevent us from that. We do Black History at our church because this is the wisdom of this craziness, this state, to remove it from the schools as they're trying to take away the schools, the public schools. And don't you believe anything they say to the contrary? All that being said, we do a Black History Moment at church, and I just want to start bringing some of them to the dialogue on Monday nights. I want to talk this week about the Rodney King riots of 1992. They're called the Los Angeles riots. These riots started because in March of 1991, Rodney King was badly beaten, and it was videoed by a bystander, and who uploaded that video. And social media was not what it is now, but it caught the news media, the mainline news media, and those officers were brought to justice, but an unjust because they were all in Simi Valley, which is a strong Republican suburb of Los Angeles. They were let off. All four of the officers that were brought to trial, and they were let off. And simultaneous to them being let off, Los Angeles went up in smoke. I remember Los Angeles going up in smoke in 1965 during the Watts riots, but they went to another level. A lot of frustration was let out this time. The anger was directed towards the Black community, towards the Korean business people, because they thought they were being ripped off, and just a lot of places. Unfortunately, in riots, there's a lot of collateral damage. At the end, 2,500 people were arrested. 600 people lost their lives. We saw one of the most poignant scenes was Reginald Denny, a white truck driver, drove through the riot zone and was pulled from the truck and beaten by what they have said was a gang member. He was beaten within an inch of his life, but he thankfully is still with us and has expressed forgiveness. That person was arrested and brought to justice. Reginald Denny showed mercy, and thank God that piece turned out all right. $1.6 billion worth of damage happened because of the Rodney King riots. Those officers were later tried on a civil rights violation, and they were convicted, and they did do time. Chief Daryl Gates was a nationally known police chief, the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Gates lost his was lost in spite of everything he tried to do. He lost his job. He was a long-standing member who would come up through the ranks. The chief of police was brought in from Philadelphia, of African American. He didn't stay there very long, but it helped. He was brought in to help to change the culture of the Los Angeles Police Department, which will start to have great elements of prejudice. We hear more about that with the OJ situation. Um, the Rodney King riots. Rodney King, who was known for saying, "Can we all just get along?" when he saw all that occurred because of what had happened to him. But it was brought to the attention. It was brought to the attention of America. And back then we stood up. We stood up 5 years ago when George Floyd was murdered, and a citizen captured that on videotape. And only God knows what's going to happen with what we have seen to two white Americans, a white female and a white male, in Minneapolis over the last 15 days. The Los Angeles / Rodney King riots noted that occurred because of injustice to a black man. All right. Wow. We've had more heavy news than I had anticipated. I just wanted to point out that when we strategically, and you always hear me say this, and if I'm wrong, I'll learn at the judgment. It does say the kingdom of God suffers violence taken by force. I thought, and I was a child of the 60s, the 50s and the 60s, I thought that it took the self-sufficiency teaching of the black history of the black Muslim, as they were called, not a Nation of Islam. It took the Black Panther Party, who displayed arms openly, and they did so many great things in our communities. Ask the people of Oakland and other and Michigan and North Carolina, with some of their child care programs became the pre-runners, the forerunners to some of the programs, SNAP program, and some of the other programs, Head Start programs that the government has adopted, which the orange idiocracy is taking away now, trying to reverse. All of these things came about, and I posit that God used all of them to help bring us to where we are as a nation now. Not perfect, but better than we were in the late 50s and the Jim Crow days of the early 60s and the 70s and days before. This administration has exposed it all because, and I skipped as I see it. Man, how did I do that? Okay, I want to let it go tonight. We'll talk about that. Not as I see it. I skipped. Are you serious? We'll talk about that at another time. Okay, I want to talk just a little sports. Super Bowl. You interested? Anybody interested in the Super Bowl? Anybody interested in who's playing in the Super Bowl? Anybody interested in the two teams? Hey, Phyllis, didn't know you were here, baby. Just switched over. So good to see you. Anybody interested in the Patriots? I found myself yesterday rooting for the Patriots. That's idiotic. Can't believe I was doing that. Anybody other than Sean Payton, because he terribly mistreated Russell Wilson. Forgiveness in me will cause me to get over that in the next cycle. So, Curtis, what's up, bro? What's up, Mac? I was over on the wrong screen. How y'all doing? So glad to see y'all back. The Patriots and the Seahawks. Remember 2014, y'all, when some offensive coordinator in Seattle made a crazy call, and Russell Wilson threw a ball that was in harm's way and was intercepted, and allowed the Patriots, who we all hated, to continue their win streak, continue to win until them Giants got a hold to them. Your Cowboys will be back, Phyllis. They'll be back. They'll be back. They'll be back. They'll be back. I like your head coach. I like Shanahan. I like him. I like where they're headed. There's some crazy elements to that team. I try to pull from since Dak has been there. So the Seahawks and the Patriots will battle it out in 2 weeks. I know, Mac, you're a Cowboy fan too. Got you, man. So what I've had to do since Since my Steelers, who went and got a real recycled coach, we're going to talk about the coaching carousel more in detail, possibly next week. Don't have an offense. The defense this year showed they weren't strong. Kansas City showed how old they have gotten to be. It broke my heart to see Mahomes injured in the midst of a horrible season they were having, a year-out injury like he suffered. I just picked the category of teams to pull to light this year, the last couple of years, until one of my teams going to make it. I hated what happened to the Chiefs last year. They got too old, and now Andy Reid is forced to retool. I see what he's doing with his team. We got a Super Bowl coming up. We'll talk more about it next week because it'll be 1 week before the game. We'll break it down, look at it. This time last week, our Hurricanes went down in a blaze of glory on a stupid pass, last-minute pass by Carson Beck, who had played so well throughout that game. Not going to fault him because it was his leadership that got us there. I know the receivers tried to take credit for it, tried to take the blame for it, but we just we're glad to see, Coach, you've gotten them that far. We're gonna be all right. Now you see, I got on blue and orange. I'm a Gator, right? But I'm a Floridian. I'm gonna pull for any Florida team, and I happen to like my second Florida team is where I live. It's the University of Miami. It's hard for me to throw up the sign, but it's not hard for me to do this, Phyllis. Always throw up that Gator thing. I want to talk about a little bit of culture before we sign off today. I don't know if you have seen this group, but they're called the Estridges. They're a husband and wife couple. They shared their marriage and their wedding. And I think right before we went dormant, we showed one of their videos. Let me show one of their videos now. And they do these shorts on Facebook Live and probably on IG and other forums. They show these short videos, and they have their own pages. You can go back and just look at all of them. Just a loving couple, great dances. The husband appeared on other America's Greatest Dance or whatever. He's been on many dance venues. Let's check them out. I'm gonna see, and then I'm gonna come back and look at another couple.
I spend for your head. Talk on it once, I don't care what you said, cause your matter. Now him I want to carry for my head every night. Now you I want to carry to my bed. Don't tell me no. You could be my partner, never ride it solo. And we can do, I'm low-key, no need to party. I feel like what you're doing, no, yeah, baby, carry go.
Now, after they gained notoriety primarily on social media, and if anybody knows how to work social media, they do. They've got the talent, they've got the grace, they've got the smiles, they've got the looks, they've got the charisma, they've got everything it takes. They're like dynamite. They make it happen. After they gain notoriety and you start seeing a whole lot of them, then Twitch's wife started doing this. That's the late great Twitch, and his wife. She started posting shorts, making shorts, and I'm sure she's doing the same thing over on IG of their dancing, and to remind people of what a great dancing couple they were and what a magnificent talent he was. Because I didn't look at the Ellen DeGeneres show, I never knew he was a great dancer, but I did pick up that after the Estridges got out there, she stopped posting their videos, and now she's posting hers with the oldest daughter and with the youngest son, I think it is. They don't have the grace, but I like seeing both of those couples. I like what she's doing. I like both of theirs. Go and visit their Facebook page and just look up some of their things. They get a little longer on some of their pages, on some of their posts, but they're primarily short videos, and you just need to smile. Those videos will make you smile. You don't have to say it, Phyllis. I can't even think about it. I don't think about it. Not that I had the rhythm to dance like them, but I don't even think about putting myself in that position. Listen, compliments to, I didn't see the movie Sinners, but compliments for all of the nominations they have received. And I think it was 12 nominations. And we'll talk more about those as time goes on. And we're going to talk more culture. Next week, I'll be more prepared with culture, things of the culture, and we'll talk more about that. Matt, Curtis, Phyllis, you guys have been with us from the beginning, and I'm gonna let you know when I'm back up there, Curtis. Be a lot more often. I'll let you know on the low. Let you know that we're up there. So my brother always thinks about our security, and he posts it after we leave it. As I see it. So we as you saw, we could not, almost every news item involved orange idiocracy, except the Pope's death and the elevation of a new Pope who is African-American descent. The original bombing of Israel over in Iran, we don't know how much he had to do with that. We got to be telling our people to vote. Go all down your bloodline. Tell your people to vote. I won't tell you at this time on this show how to vote, but you ought to know after seeing just some of the stuff we've exposed you to over the years on this show. You got to vote. As I see it, life is bigger than politics. I tried to get away from that. I'm going to talk more about some of the things I've done to get away from the politics so that I can have some measure of sanity. As I see it, there's still joy. You saw that couple. You saw those couples, and we pray for Twitch's wife. You know, he left us by his own choice. We're just going to continue to pray. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I love you all. I appreciate you being faithful to this program. Join us next Monday night. We'll have a lot more to talk about, and we want to continue to interact. It does not work without you. Next Monday night, Dialogue with Dozie. YouTube, Facebook Live. Go Giga. We love you. Dialogue with Dozie. Out.